position too, the medical marijuana, is kind of a good example. This is something that has been up on the Hill for a very long time. We've talked about it for years, and we've made incremental improvements, but with the strong support it had, even when some major players in our state were against it, and the strong support it has, this is indicative of a legislature that is out of touch with the will of the people. It's even more pronounced when you get to something like the Better Boundaries Initiative. There's no real opposition to that, and yet the only way something like this will ever pass is if it's by ballot initiative, because the will of the people is not being reflected by partisan. And in Utah, the Republican Party has been in power, like I said, since 1979. They've controlled the legislature. But this happens in other states too. You see it in California. You see it back east with the Democrats. It's not a one-party thing. It's the fact that we have one party who is only one party that's in power. We need competition. That genuinely is necessary if we want to have free markets. Free markets are awesome, right? We want to unleash the power of free markets, and we talk about that in terms of economics all the time. We need that in ideas and in politics as well, because otherwise you stagnate. You get basically an aristocracy for all intents and purposes. So we need to have this competition of ideas. We need to have a balance of power where you don't have just one party in power. If it was just the United Utah Party in power, that would be a bad thing too. We need this competition. And so that's where the will of the people is going to come into play, is when you have to go and talk to people, when you have to go out and door knock, when you have to. Because, I mean, in our district, you had two primary challengers, right? So you've been out since January, February, interacting with people.
It was cold.
But there are races in our state where there wasn't even a primary challenger. Why on earth would that person go out and knock doors then? Why on earth would that person create a Facebook page where they might be heckled? We need to be able to interact with our legislators, and that only happens in an arena where there is competition.